name is Kylie Peterson. Millions of people are put behind bars every year in the U.S. alone, and of those millions, about half of these are drug offenses. By putting every drug offender behind bars, we spend immense amounts of money on incarceration while also supporting the mass incarceration happening in America. By decriminalizing minor drug offenses and instead rehabilitating the addicts, we would be able to reduce drug use and diseases overall, along with easing the stigmas people have keeping them from reaching help. Supporting decriminalization and rehabilitation in the future would reduce costs of prisons overall, mass incarceration, drug use, and would support recovery. The war on drugs has been ongoing for years under the ideology that anybody who possesses drugs or uses them should be held accountable for a crime and put into prisons. However, this tougher approach has landed over 2 million people in prisons, equal to every 1 in 142 U.S. residents. According to Annette Benson, if you think that's a lot of people, well, it is. Benson says these numbers give America the highest percentage of incarcerated citizens. Although drugs are a large issue in our country and many others, Keisha McLean-Green says that as of 2013, they found that 6.8 million Americans struggled with drug abuse or dependency. With these statistics, the space and cost of holding prisoners could get extremely out of hand and wouldn't provide the support that addicts need. The current system simply promotes mass incarceration in America rather than steering drug users towards recovery in a clean future. Not only are we putting millions of people behind bars, but the cost to do so is really high. The Federal Register stated that in 2015, the cost to incarcerate just one inmate was at $31,977 per year, making that $87 a day paid by tax-paying citizens just to incarcerate one person. At this rate, if the U.S. continues to imprison more people, that amount only goes up. And as stated before, nearly 2% of people in the U.S. struggle with addiction. And according to the Department of Justice, around 20% of prisoners are mentally ill. As most people know someone who has struggled with these issues, it is reasonable that we want to help rather than putting them into prisons and only making the problem worse. The National Institute on Drug Abuse says that in 2016, America had 64,000 deaths by drug overdose, and that number is only rising. While the number of overdose deaths and the number of inmates are both rising each year, we could be changing the way the system works and instead implementing new policies. Implementing rehabilitation offers much cheaper and effective solutions to the problem, whether it be detox, medication, or inpatient or outpatient rehab. Mrs. McLean-Green says that researchers concluded that if just 40% of eligible drug offenders were put into rehabilitation rather than prisons, we would save a whopping $13 billion a year. It is possible to save money while also providing the necessary help that people may be waiting for. And other countries have had amazing results by implementing these policies and after decriminalizing drugs and replacing prisons with her rehabilitation. Lauren Freire found that in Portugal, they decriminalized drugs after a large heroin epidemic happened, and many who witnessed this change firsthand confirmed that it did indeed help many people. It eased stigmas for those afraid of seeking help, and it allowed controlled methods of recovery and easing drug dependency. Providing safe places and safe tools for these addicts decreased drug-related infections by 95%. Rehabilitation and treatment also reduces overdoses each year overall as well. Freire also stated that the overdose rates in Portugal dropped nearly 75% after this policy change. And drugs were also down by half after the change in policy, 5 times lower than the European average. By helping rather than punishing drug offenders, we could save billions of lives and also support recovery. Overall, our current justice system just doesn't provide any benefits to the future of our people overall. However, we're still expected to pay for these prisons and allow mass incarceration to keep happening and keep getting worse. The American future should provide and promote effective solutions to drug crimes and implement new systems of decriminalization and rehabilitation instead of going down the same path that has been driving us in the wrong direction for years. Allowing drug offenders and addicts to have hope for the future only promotes a better future for everybody in recovery and progress for our country overall. Thank you.
Good job.